How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have a new discussion video for Fusion World. We're going to go over the top 10 red staples from set 1 from my view and opinion, because I feel like it'd be a good thing to help out with newer players, players that aren't familiar with Dragon Ball games, because this game is what's quite similar to One Piece. It's more similar to Masters, just a little bit more simplified. And I think it'd be a nice little help for each color to have like a little video to go into the staples, so you know what exactly you should grab if you're going for a specific color. We're gonna go over each one of the colors, start off with like red, then blue, and green and yellow. So watch out for those if you don't like red. And also remember, the best way to start off with Fusion World with any color is to grab a starter deck, and then, or maybe two, depending on how many you want of certain cards, and then add some stuff from the first set to it. So, before we get into that, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, because we're on the way to 1,000 subs. You can help out greatly by doing those things, but most importantly, make sure to subscribe, as it keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop. And also, by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts from my channels to let you know when my videos go out, so you can watch it there and then, or at a later time. Also remember, by leaving a like, let me know how if you enjoy this content and to keep you on with it, and by commenting you can let me know if you agree or disagree, get this discussion going, or what you want to see on the channel. Now, without the way, let's get in the video and go over what I feel are the top 10 red staples from set 1. So, starting off, the one thing I'm gonna will say is that this is not in any specific order, just the 10 staples I feel for each color, and we're always going to probably start off with the first one being super combos. Now, this is something that is probably more well known out of Masters than it is out of Fusion World, because super combo is in Masters, is one of the main things you look when you're building a deck, main things you include, but it doesn't exist in One Piece. And Super Combo is a deck building keyword skill where, like you see on the card, it limits you to a maximum of 4 cards with the Super Combo keyword to be placed in your deck. I mean, you can only have 4 copies in any deck, but you can have 4 in any deck you play. And what they are is basically combo cards. And now they have they don't have, the main thing is they've been printed in Fusion World to be more costly in the actual cost to prevent you from playing them, because you should be leaving them in hand to combo. And they're very good in this because most cards they have a combo power of 0, 5k, or 10k. But these ones have a little bit to go beyond that, because when used defensively during your opponent's turn, if you combo them from hand, they gain an extra 10k combo power, meaning that you can combo with one card 20k defensively to help out with attacks to prevent you from taking damage or saving a battle card. Really handy cards, and you want to have 4 copies of them. And for red, it's got like a little different thing of it, a little bit of a different thing regarding which one you choose, because every color has 2. They have one from the starter deck and one from the main set. And some of the colors have ones that benefit from the traits or characters. Everyone's don't really have that. They have one you're mainly going to use 100% of the time. But with red, for its ones, it's got two different ones that can be used. So you got the Universe 7 one being Shin, and the Universe 6 one being Kaba. So Shin comes in the starter deck, Kaba comes in the main set, and these are both relevant because red, unlike the other colors, kind of has 2 big archetypes in its color, being a Universe 7 archetype, which even has a leader behind it in U7 Goku, and you got the Universe 6 stuff, which doesn't have any leader yet, but has his own archetype built in, which doesn't go together as well as U7, but still has some good cards and good techs. So the nice thing about this is if you're leaning more into Universe 7, you go with Shin. If you're leaning more into Universe 6, you go into Kaba. Now this doesn't relate to the other colors, but for this color, for red, you want to pick one depending on what you're focusing more, if you're Universe 7 or Universe 6. So that's the first one of cards. So maybe 2 cards there, but it's mainly the whole thing of super combos being you need super combos as one of staples. Then we have the boss cards, and just like with super combos, there are some different options of boss cards, and some have different I put 2 of this, mainly supposed to be top 10, but then this is more like a type of card, boss cards, because people have different playstyles. Every color has a double striker, and for red, double striker is Goku, the 5-drop from the starter deck, where it comes down minus something by 20k, and then threatens double striker 35k, but even 40k if you're using U7 Goku. Now that's a really good way to finish off, because if you think about it, the way to win is deck your opponent out, which there's not really a real mill deck in the game, so there's no really way to focus on that or care about that at the moment. But the other way to win, and the main way you're going to be winning in set 1, is by making your opponent take all 8 of their life. Now the nice thing about Double Strike is that unlike Masters, they haven't checked on everything. They kept it to like some boss cards. There's only one card in each color that has that skill, Double Strike, and is a great way to finish off games because instead of doing 8 damage, doing one life one at a time, you can do the last two in one go. So I mean, you can only have to do 7 damage instead of 8, compared to yeah, compared to that really, and that's a nice way. Like it puts all like because they're like big bodies as well. It's going to put more combo power in your opponent defending. If you whittle down their resources and keep them at 2 and finish off this, is a great way to win. But if you look on the other side of the boss card, you've got Beerus, which instead of having same stats and everything, just different character, a little bit of a different trait, and different skills, but same cost power combo. And Beerus is critical instead of double strike, which means when he does damage, instead of the card your opponent takes from life to go into hand, it goes straight to drop, so you're denying them a resource. But it's got a stronger on-play effect, so it doesn't finish off games as well as Goku, but it does have a great way of managing resources and board. Because this is on players by discarding a card from your hand. You pop all your opponent's battle cards at 25k power or less, and considering it's the color that has the identity of reduction in power, even if something's outside the range of it, you've got ever cards and skills to be able to reduce the power of cards and make them within range so that you can pop them as well. So even though not everything's going to be within range of 25k, you can reduce the power to that to make it so you can hit them. So this makes it a little bit easier. So if you're worrying about more, if you want to, like with these 2 battle cards, if you want a way to kind of fish your opponent off a little bit easier, you go double strike. If you don't really worry about double strike, you just want to go resource, then Beerus is a great way to just manage the board and then start putting critical, because critical is a great way to make it so on a big body as well, especially 40k, once again just like Goku with the U7 Goku leader, you can deny them resources, so later on in the game, they not want to take, really, they want to combo out of most swings, but if they feel like they can't out combo them and have to take it, critical is going to deny them resource as well, so it acts almost like double strike, so even though you swing on their second life and it crits them, they're not getting that backhand to hand to defend them, so it's almost as good as double strike. So depending on which ones you prefer, if you prefer to go with a double strike finish or board control and critical swings, then it depends on which one of these. But still, you want a boss card to help, like win the late game of your deck. There is also the secret rare, which is also like a boss card, but it's not as potent as these two. It can function as a boss card, but then these ones focus a lot stronger and do a lot better than the secret rare currently. So that is the second one. So the boss card is the second one, and then the next one we have is universe extras. So just like with super combos, these ones both have a benefit to extra universe because they both focus on certain universes. So you've got the Strong Warriors of Universe 6 focused on the Universe 6 archetype, and you've got the Assemble representatives of the Universe 7 focused on the Universe 7 stuff. They're both searches, so the activate main is to look at top 5 cards for up to 1 card with the same trait as the card, so Universe 7 for 7, 6 for 6. Then add it to your add one of them to your hand, place the rest at the bottom of your deck in a random order, so they both function the same way. They're both searches for the respective archetype. The only difference then, aside from their different universes they search for, is their battle trick. So they're both a searcher and a battle trick, which is very handy. But the Universe 6 one is as a defensive one because it's our opponent's turn, whereas Universe 7 one is during your turn. So you're always going to be using these ones with them because they tie really well in Orochi, which we'll see probably in a little bit. And they also focus, you got double features. You can either use them as searcher, if you feel you want to just search and get some consistency going to find a certain thing that you're looking for, or have a chance of finding it because it only looks at top 5. Or if you want to use it as a battle trick to defend yourself or be aggressive a little bit easier, then you can use it in that way. Like nice functionality and add a bit more consistency to each one because the archetypes are quite big in the respective color. So you definitely want one, but you'll use whichever one, depending on which universe you lean into more. So if you use more Universe 6, you go Universe 6 one. If you use Universe 7, use 7 one. Then we've got Self-Awaken. Every color wants Self-Awakening because the benefit of this, with this game, is that it takes the same kind of form of leaders as Mass is doing. So rather than One Piece, where a leader is just a leader, same power and effects throughout the game, Masters have a little bit different, where they start off quite weakish, so they can just battle each other's leaders. But as the game goes over, they get a little bit of power boost, where they can flip over, be stronger with some more beneficial effects. And usually these awakened side effects are what kind of draw people towards playing certain leaders over others. And to get there, you need to awaken, which means you have to get to a certain life total, being 4 currently in the game, to be able to flip over and get that power. And to do that, you either need to rely on your opponent attacking you into your leader to kind of push you down to that certain life total. But if they kind of hold off on not doing that, you kind of want to do it yourself. So you want some great self-awakeners, and one of the best ones you've got in red is Master Roshi. Because they're just a one cost, so very cheap, one cost card that allows you to take your own life, being it using its effect, being activate being once per turn. Add a card from your life to your hand. You've got to pay the cost though for this, and then during this turn, the next time you use an extra card in your hand, you reduce it by 1 red. So this is really good because it's self-awakening to help you take your life so you can get closer to awakening so you can flip over and get your benefit, which on the red leaders is very, very good. You want to get there as fast as possible to U7 Goku, so that way you give a blanket buff to all your U7 stuff. And Beerus, you want to then go, if you're to be able to, you awaken size so you can start drawing cards and then have the benefit of just be able to minus things by just for free from your leader. Now this works really well with the previous lot of staples we just said about the Universe 7 traits because where its effect uses the cost of an next extra card you use by 1 red, it means those extra cards in the previous one, if you use a search effect, you could use them for free the first time you use it. Or even the battle trick on Universe 7 because it's in your turn, you can use that as a battle trick for free in that same turn. So it's really nice that it's got an early turn benefit, being able to help you soft awaken to gain cards, and then basically just get to your awakened side as quickly as possible. And in the later game, if you feel you're going to go in for a game and you want to basically just get as many cards as possible, you can not only take a card from life to add to help, make sure as long as you're not going to one, to add more cards to your combo to be able to push for game. You also then make the next extra card, which could be like a battle trick to help you push the damage through a little bit easier for cheaper as well. So it's a fantastic soft awaken. There are some other ones, but I feel like Roshi is the best one and one that you definitely want to pick up if you're playing red. Then we've got the next one being Cantrips or Never Roshi, and Cantrips is a great one. It's used like Cantrips are essentially cards that when played replace themselves in the hand. So when you play them out, they draw you back a card that replace themselves in their hand. The main one we normally refer to Cantrips are little ones like one drops, like Roshi here, where just for 1 energy comes down, draws a card, and now you've basically you've +1 because you've replaced the card in hand, so it's because the Roshi is now on board, but you can use the Roshi to combo with. So they're a lot better in Masters and Fusion World than they are in One Piece because you can't really combo off on board. You can attack with them, but they're quite weak. But it's more like the benefit in Fusion World is you can combo them off. So if you pay out this Roshi, draw a card, you can now combo offensively to push more damage, or defensively to defend a little bit easier without really losing anything. You've basically plussed, and then you use that like a little bit of profit to kind of defend or aggress a little bit easier. Now every color has this, and currently every color only has one, and this one you can get the starter deck, so it's never a good reason to grab the starters. Now you go on to number 6, and we got this one being the SR Goku, which is your removal. So you might notice that these words we've got next to them in the explanations aren't really they're just more explaining what the best thing about this card is. And this one kind of had dual usage because just like Roshi, it's a soft awakener because his on players add up to 1 card from your left to your hand. But it's a lot more expensive, so it's more like mid to late game using this money for the Ever effect than it is the Awakening. But the Awakening can be beneficial during the mid game. But it's mainly the fact that after doing that on play, you get to then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with 20k power or less and KO it. So that's a good, nice bit of removal because that can kill anything that threatens without being boosted your Awaken lead, and just nice removal because the main benefit of removal in red is that it doesn't worry about cost like the Ever colors do, or most of the Ever colors do. It focuses on power, which is great because it's the power reduction color. It focuses on power with its removal as well, meaning that if you have something that's above 20k that you want to get rid of, if you use an effect to minus its power down so it goes to 20k or less, this then makes this then a target for this card to then remove it. And it's really nice because basically it's a free cost, 25k power, so it's good power for cost, and it's nice removal in that, so you don't have to worry about swinging into things to get rid of them. You can just use the power down, KO them, and focus on swinging at your opponent's lead to kill them as quick as possible. It does have a lack of combo power, but then the rest of its effects outweigh that negative. So you want to pick up some of these. Remember, with these cards as well, you don't have to get playsets of all these cards. These are just cards you have to pick. You want to pick up in some quantity, and that quantity depends on what you want. If you want to have a full playset to see them as easy as possible, multiple of them. If you just want to be able to see them, if you just want to tech them, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a full playset, but you do want some copies of it for when you play the color. So you want to pick up some of these. Maybe not a playset. Maybe you do. It's up to you. Then we go on to some Gohan. This is a really nice one. A little bit different in the compared to the other one we've got. So Gohan's a really nice one for help with whiteboards because the free cost 20k with 5k combo, and on play is really nice for weenie removal. So what I mean by weenie removal is weenies normally refer to small, like very low costing cards or very weak cards. So like cards that have like 10k power or less, or are like 1 or 2 cost, like small, like 1 cost cards. And weenie removal is really nice in that if your opponent goes in with a cantrips, it plays out loads of cantrips to place enough stuff in hand, so that their hand doesn't really change, and have these little guys on board to help defend or aggress with extra power for basically free. Sometimes your opponent will play loads of cantrips, leaving there, so when defending, after drawing through the deck a little bit more to find things they want, they have then to use the swab the next turn a little bit easier, and then go to next turn not really paying anything to defend themselves, so like technically having a free turn. And Gohan is a really nice way to kind of deal with that and like make it so that's not the case for them. So if they put out little cantrips, you then next turn play this card, wipe all their things at 10k or less, or make the things that are 10k or more, or more than 10k, a little bit weaker. And then after they don't have all that free combo power there anymore, it's all gone. They have to start using cards from hand. And this also not only is good for weenie removal, but if your opponent goes wide with a board, it's also nice to reduce its power. So if you don't have ways to remove it by effects, you can reduce the power of their cards, so you can swing into it and make it a lot harder for them to defend, and a lot easier for you to get rid of them. So this is a rare in the set, and it's a very good one to pick up. Don't have to pick a playset once again, but you do want to pick up some of them because it's a very good effect. Then we got Frost being a floodgate. So Floodgate is if you come from Master, you probably shut out the word Floodgate because it's basically what Masters become now. You've got cards that essentially end turns on their own, and that's essentially what Floodgates mean. Is that Floodgates are essentially cards that essentially put a condition on your opponent where if they want to do anything for the rest of the turn or attack for the rest of the turn, they have to pay the condition, and the condition is normally always a negative. So it could be something like in Masters, we've got cards that make if you want to attack for the rest of the turn, you have to discard a card each time. If you want to attack, you have to rest a card, you have to bottom deck a card from hand, you have to ditch cards from a certain area, or you can only attack 1 more time or 2 more times or anything like that. Like putting a condition on that is like just prevalent masters. It's normally on attacks or like on ever effects, like built into leaders and things like that. But luckily in Fusion World we don't really have that. But Frost is probably as close as we come because this effect is permanent. Is a permanent where your opponent can't attack with battle cards that are 20k power or less. And given that you had a power reduction, if you do have any battle tricks to reduce powers of cards that can attack, you can make it so they can attack, and it's gonna shut off like some decks. I can shut off like Ginyu if Ginyu can't deal with it because they have mainly 20k power cards, and it just means that if your opponent's got loads of like some smallish cards that can just threaten lead without just like for as cheap as possible, do 20k's just 20 20 20. Yeah, holding off those is really handy in just making sure your opponent, if they go wide with loads of small things, they're kind of stuck. They're not able to do anything until they get rid of this. And if you leave this in active mode, you can kind of leave it so they can't really. They have to use different ways to deal with it, and it can really help against it. And this is normally a card that you definitely want to have, even if you even tech for yellow. Just a handy thing, because if you don't have this against yellow and you go home against a Ginyu and they just swarm you with all these 20k's, and you don't have this card to stop them, you're going to be regretting that and going to be chucking that straight in afterwards. So you don't have to have a playset of this, but you want a few copies of this just so you have your main deck ready to deal with yellow cards. And then we got the next one, so we're going to see some of the ever extras, and we got boss removal. So one thing in this game is that you get some, like the later the game goes on, the bigger things you can play. And with green being one of the most dominant, one of the best colors, or probably the best color in the game currently, they have a lot of big things, like big power things, big costing things that you want to get rid of. And the problem with most colors is that if playing out things are 6 or more, it's very hard to deal with. There's very few things that allow you to deal with six cost or higher cards in most colors. But luckily, where red doesn't have to care about the cost of the card, they can get rid of them a lot easier. And most boss cards are quite big, but lucky you have God Kamehameha here, which is a good thing to allow you to kill big things, because its activate main is choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 30k power or less and KO it. And remember, you might think, what if they've got 30k or more than 30k power? Well, given that you're red, you've got the power to, in some effects, to reduce the cost of the power of cards. Meaning that if they're outside the cost of this card to pop it, you just reduce the card with an effect, use this, and then you got rid of it. So if your opponent's got like a big 8-drop Broly, you can play something that reduces it by 15k, so it's then within 30k power, and then you play this, pop it, and if you use less energy than what they've paid for the card, get rid of it, and it's gone. It's not back to hand, not back to the deck, and it's not on board for them to use the next turn. They have to play a new one if they have a new one. Well, that's gone. You have to worry about that. You can focus on smashing their lead. So it's really handy, and it's another one that comes in the starter deck and a full playset as well, so another good reason to pick up the starter deck. And then that brings us to the last one, being our wide removal in Time Skip. Now this is a bit more costly than God Kamehameha, but being a free cost, it also has a very strong effect, being Activate Main. Choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to a total power of 35k or less and KO them. Now this can function great as just big removal, like God Kamehameha, or wide removal, and it functions more in wide removal than it does in the other one because it can hit multiple things. It says choose any number of your opponent's battle cards. And remember, since you're the power reduction color, if your opponent's got a very wide board and you can get to certain you can hit a certain amount up to the cost of 35k, but you got some it still gives a few. You can reduce the power of some cards to make them a little bit weaker, so that way you can get more in the total and hit multiple. So if your opponent's got two 20ks and a 5k, then you know you can hit the two. You can't hit the two 20ks, or you can only hit the 5k when it's got 5k power and a 20k, but you can't hit both. But if you go ahead and minus, like say with Beerus lead, minus 1 and 20k down from 20 to 10, there's now within all three of them are within range for the single card to take out amount without needing to attack into them or waste resources comboing or attacks into them, leaving you to attack the leader. And this is one that you probably don't want too many copies, but at least like 2 maybe. That'd be a good thing to help deal with boards, but you still continue to then push with leader. Because the less time you have to worry about attacking into your opponent's board, and just focus on attacking leaders, so they're then taking damage or comboing out cards to help defend, and just popping the board of effects means you can focus on your game plan, and not worry too much about having to waste attacks into their board. And that is it. That is the top 10 cards. So some of them did have multiple copies, but it's more like the kind of thing they represent than it is the cards. But some of them did have the single cards. But once we get to more colors, there might be same with like super combos. There are some cards that function the same kind of way, but have different ones for kind of like maybe the different leaders in the different colors, or maybe many ways they can kind of do it, like different play styles. But hopefully that was helpful. So remember, if you do enjoy the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And catch me in the next one as we go over blue in the next video. But for now, that's it. Bye for now.